and you want an actual law student to tell you what's going on, I mean, there's a lot of gossip on the web right now. Everyone on YouTube is making these videos, and most of them don't know what they're talking about. I'm here to set the record straight. I have the actual complaint, and I'm going to run through it and tell you what's going on, and we're going to speculate by the water cooler. We're going to talk about it. To properly cover this case, I'm going to break it down section by section. It's the best way to learn and understand what the goal of a lawsuit is and to see why Tfue is filing this and what he's filing it about. So right off the bat, here's a look at the cover page. This is going to tell you who the parties involved are, what the case is for, and what the complaint is for. So you can see right here, Turner Tenney is Tfue's real name, and he's suing Faze Clan Incorporated and a number of John Does that are not currently mentioned as defendants by name. So with further ado, let's jump right back in. The first section, which we're going to cover today in this video right now, is the introduction. If you like this video, throw me a subscribe, throw me a like. It's really going to help me out. And we're going to break down further ones in later videos. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure to ring the bell when you subscribe, and I'll keep you up to date on all things Tfue versus Faze Clan and any other pop culture legal analysis that needs to be discussed. Okay, so right here above the introduction, you can see that Turner Tenney alleges causes of action against defendants Faze Clan Incorporated, also known as Faze Clan, and Does 1 through 25, collectively the defendants as follows. So this first section is the introduction. Anything you file with the trial court is going to have an introduction, and basically it's going to tell you what's going on in this suit. It's going to give you an overview, just like if you were to summarize something in like an abstract, except a little bit longer. It basically talks about esports. A lot of the judges aren't going to understand what esports is. We understand what esports is. We understand how they work. But a lot of these judges are older, very busy, and not really in touch with the nuances of esports, if they've even heard of esports at all. So what he's trying to do right here, the attorney is trying to frame esports in a light that's going to be positive for Turner. This is huge because this is likely the judge's first introduction to anything esports related. So the better this is framed and the more persuasively this is written, the better it's going to go for Tfue. So right here off the bat it says, esports is a new and rapidly growing entertainment format. Unlike traditional sports, significant revenue in the esports entertainment industry is driven by creative content and performances, namely videos featuring and created by the gamers themselves. In no uncertain terms, these gamers are artists, entertainers, and content creators. They perform, they act, they direct, they edit, and they stream. Right here, right now, he's trying to establish basically all the hard work is happening from the streamer's end. This isn't happening from the organizations, these groups that I'm assuming he's going to say are taking advantage of these streamers, of these esports athletes. Right off the bat, he's trying to set a tone that says the hard workers are these guys. And he's also trying to relate them to artists, entertainers, content creators. These are labels that the court of the Central District of LA is super, super used to talking about. They're used to these. There's developed law in these fields. And he's going to try to draw on the developed law in those fields and relate that to this new field of esports. This is one of the earliest cases in esports and is going to be a huge one. He says, moreover, the content created by these gamers is typically not found on traditional broadcast media such as network or cable television. Instead of broadcasting television programs, these gamer content creators stream their videos on online platforms such as YouTube and Twitch. I mean, we're on YouTube right now. We're familiar with this. Once again, the judge might not be. Okay? So the videos created by these content creators / streamers have become increasingly popular, especially amongst young viewers. Millions subscribe to the content creators / streamers' online channels and or view these videos. As a result, these videos can be extremely profitable. More of the same. So, because the esports industry is so new, there's little to no regulation or oversight. There are no real organizations such as unions or guilds to help protect the content creators / streamers that drive the industry. Most of these content creators / streamers are also very young and are often unsophisticated, unseasoned, and trusting. As a result, these young content creators / streamers are susceptible to being taken advantage of and exploited. often by those who are supposed to be looking out for their best interests. Unfortunately, this has become an industry standard. The lawyer here is writing a narrative. He's talking about right now how it's basically the Wild West, and these kids, these young, vulnerable kids, are being taken advantage of. One of the things we want to really focus in on is the language that he's using in this paragraph, because it's going to set up for the future videos and for the rest of this lawsuit what kind of case this lawyer is building. And it seems to be one of an unconscionable contract. We're assuming at this point that Tfue wants to get out of the contract with Faze Clan. There's only so many ways you can get out of a contract you signed. One of them is unconscionability. Unconscionability in the state of California is a two-pronged thing. You have to prove both substantive and procedural unconscionability. Procedural unconscionability is about the unequal bargaining power of the two parties at hand. And substantive unconscionability, what that does is it says, hey, look, the terms of this agreement were egregious. They were unfair. They would shock the conscience of a fair and normal person. And both need to be present in order to name a contract unconscionable. And he's kind of setting that tone. This is something the courts are used to. They've seen unconscionability. There's long history of case law on unconscionability, and courts need to follow this. So if you can set this tone, and he does this, because we can see here, he says, they are often very young, unsophisticated, unseasoned, and trusting. He's saying they're susceptible to being taken advantage of and exploited. He didn't yet say that Tfue was taken advantage of or exploited, but he's setting that tone that, hey, look, this is the industry standard. What we're seeing is these large, sophisticated businessmen taking advantage of these young kids who were just following their passion, these young, talented kids. He set this forward. These kids are doing so much hard work. These kids are grinding, they're talented, they're young, and they're being taken advantage of. This is the kind of narrative you want. Law is about telling stories. Litigation is about telling stories. And this lawyer so far is doing a fantastic job of telling the judge, hey, look, this is what's going on. This is a story, and my client is sympathetic. And it's going to be difficult because Turner is making millions of dollars. So for him to look like the victim, it's going to be an uphill battle. So then it comes in and it finally talks about the client, Turner Tenney. Tenney, professionally known as Tfue, is a 21-year-old professional gamer and content creator / streamer. Tenney performs in and creates popular videos that he streams online. Because Tenney's videos are viewed by millions, sponsors are willing to pay for Tenney to perform and create videos that will at least in part promote their goods and services and brands. So they're basically saying, listen, brands want to pay Turner. Brands want to pay him. He's popular, he's loved, brands want to sponsor him. Now let's see what happens. Defendant Faze Clan Incorporated, also known as Faze Clan, is a so-called esports entertainment company. Through Tenney's brief relationship with Faze Clan, he has come to learn that Faze Clan subscribes to the business model described above. Now this is huge. So he basically just said, up here, we saw this has become an industry standard of being taken advantage of. He's saying this is what Faze Clan does. That's the business model they do. They take advantage of kids. He also says brief relationship with Faze Clan. This is setting up to the judge, hey look, this guy's making millions of dollars, this guy's worth everything, and he's only had a brief relationship. Now this is an industry that's blown up as of late. Everyone making all this money in esports, and particularly Fortnite-based esports, is making this money very recently. But it's going to set this tone where, hey look, this was a brief relationship, and Faze Clan didn't play a huge part. Because when you're going for these substantive unconscionability claims, what you need to show is that it was substantively unconscionable at the time that he entered into the contract. So if Tfue needed Faze Clan to build him up and make something of him, then guess what? It might not have been unconscionable to take up to 80% of his money because he was a nobody. Without Faze Clan, he never would have made that money. So this lawyer has to overcome that obstacle. So he's using subtle language and saying things like, through Tenney's brief relationship with Faze Clan. This is introducing the judge and saying, hey look, this guy's so successful, he's here, he's huge, and he's only been with them briefly. This kind of puts in your subconscious that, hey, Faze Clan isn't the reason for his success, is not the reason for his success, and that's huge moving forward. So this lawyer clearly knows what he's doing. So, through Tenny's brief relationship with Faze Clan, he has come to learn that Faze Clan subscribes to the business model described above. Faze Clan's goal is essentially to own Tenny and other content creators / streamers and professional gamers. Own. That is strong language. Own? I mean, we know to our core that owning another person is wrong. And he's using this language to trigger that feeling. We know Faze Clan doesn't own him. He's not a slave of Faze Clan, but this is language that draws up strong emotions, and you're thinking a young, vulnerable man being owned by other business. It just feels wrong, and this is why he's using this type of language in the complaint with the court. So, Tenny signed a gamer agreement with Faze Clan when Tenny was only 20 years old. Only 20 years old. Once again, young. Not 20 years old. He was only 20 years old. They're trying to say how young and inexperienced he is. Once again, setting forward that narrative. That gamer agreement is grossly oppressive, onerous, and one-sided. Once again, we're getting to this oppressive. Here, like I said, oppression. That's kind of the tone of this. There's a lot of case law with it, and there's just hard, fundamental rules when it comes to oppression. And here, we're trying to fit it into that category. We're trying to say this contract is unfair, and Tfue should be getting out of it. Here it says, indeed, the gamer agreement purportedly entitles Faze Clan to a finder's fee of up to 80% of the revenue paid by third parties for Tenny's services. So that's where they bolded 80%. What we did above was we related the industries of, acting, producing, all these general entertainment industries that the courts are used to dealing with. And then we said a finder's fee of 80% in all bold. This is the substantive unconscionable term that they're going to point to. The lawyers are going to say, the standard in this industry that this is most similar to is 10 to 20% finder's fee. And with someone as big as Turner, it's going to be closer to 10 in these other industries because they're not really doing the work to go out and find a sponsor. The sponsors are kind of coming to Turner. So 80%, that's going to shock the conscience. And that's the key. We're looking for something that is just unconscionable. It shocks our conscience. How can you take 80% of the money that Turner's earning? And that's why that's bolded, and that's why this is being brought up. It says, additionally, Faze Clan uses illegal and anti-competitive provisions in the gamer agreement to severely limit Tenny's ability to compete in the marketplace. Again, strong language. These conspicuously anti-competitive provisions, which are probably found in every Faze Clan gamer agreement, undoubtedly violate California Business and Professions Code, section 16,600. Okay, so basically what they're saying here is probably found in every Faze Clan gamer agreement. What they're going to need to do is, if this makes it past this stage to discovery, what they're going to need to do is get the rest of the Faze Clan gamer agreements. Right now what they're saying is, if these anti-competitive provisions exist in every single agreement, what they're saying is there was no chance for negotiation, and that goes to substantive unconscionability. If there is no chance and no possible way you could have negotiated, if Tfue it was a take it or leave it contract, that might show that it's unconscionable. And the way we tell to see if, hey, was this negotiable and Tfue maybe didn't negotiate? Did Tfue negotiate any other terms of the agreement? That's another important thing. If he was able to negotiate another part of the agreement, then maybe he could have negotiated this fee, and that was up to him, and then it was a fair deal. That's something that's really important. So right now he assumes, and he says it's probably found in every gamer agreement, but he doesn't know that. The lawyer doesn't know that, but he's trying to say, hey, look, this is what we're going to need to find out, to see if it's unconscionable, to see what's going on here. And he's setting the groundwork for that right here in the introduction. He says, this provides every contract by which anyone is restrained from engaging in a lawful profession, trade, business, whatever. So basically he's just outlining a statute in California that's being broken. And he says that the Faze Clan uses these contracts to limit Tenny's deals sourced exclusively by Faze Clan and prevent Tenny from exploring deals presented by others. So basically, if there's a deal that Faze Clan is involved in and a competitor wants to pay Tfue because he's bigger, Tfue can't independently make a deal. So Tfue probably can't be signed with Red Bull or Monster Energy because they have some G Fuel sponsor. And Tfue's losing out on a lot of money because of this. But the question is whether at the time the contract was entered into, whether it was fair. And we know that Tfue did see a huge boost from joining Faze Clan. So it's going to be an interesting lawsuit from that perspective, but this is the kind of narrative that this filing is showing from the very beginning. So we're going to go on to paragraph 5. Faze Clan's gamer agreements are illegal for yet another reason. They violate California's Talent Agency Act, which protects artists from those like Faze Clan and acts as an unlicensed talent agency. He's basically saying, hey, look, we have laws to govern the way Faze Clan needs to act. They are a talent agency. They're not filed as a talent agency. They're pretending to be something else, but ultimately what they're acting as is a talent agency. So once again, he had mentioned in the very beginning, this is a lot like the industry we already have. It's just not specifically governed, and we need to, through case law, make it governed by those same rules. Those same rules were created to protect creators, and we need to protect our gamer creators, these young, vulnerable creators, in the same way we protect the rest of the entertainment agency. This is just the beginning. Be on the right side of history. It's essentially the tone that is being used in this introduction. As a result of Faze Clan's violation of California Talent Agency, the California Labor Commissioner is concurrently presiding and considering a petition to determine controversy. A copy of that petition is attached here too as Exhibit 1. So we'll go over that later. Paragraph 6. Faze Clan's illegal contracts and illegal procurement of employment are only the beginning of Faze Clan's misconduct. Though Faze Clan is supposed to be looking out for Tenny's best interest, Faze Clan has done the opposite, as Tenny's agents are basically saying, usually in a general agent relationship with an athlete or with an entertainer, their interests are supposed to be aligned, their goals are supposed to be aligned, they're supposed to be looking out for their interests. Faze Clan isn't doing this, and I'm sure he's going to tell us why. As Tenny's agent, Faze Clan receives payment on Tenny's behalf from third parties for the sponsorship deals that included Tenny's services. In breach of the gamer agreement and Faze Clan's common law obligations, Faze Clan has retained those payments without distributing them to Tenny. Equally egregious is Faze Clan's breach of its fiduciary duty of loyalty owed to Tenny. So that relationship I was saying where, they owe a right to Turner, that's being breached. They're not following through. They're not looking out for his best interests, and then they're withholding money. They're not paying him what they're supposed to be paying him, so they're not distributing those payments, which, whether that's true or not, we're going to have to see it unfold in the discovery process and in the trial. If they go to trial or if they settle, we'll have to see. Acting in the capacity of Tenny's agent, Faze Clan rejected at least one sponsorship deal on Tenny's behalf due to a glaring conflict of interest. So once again, that was probably something like an energy drink or something else that was a competing product. Conflicts of interest, we understand. They exist in a lot of different ways. In advertising agencies, law firms, a lot of different industries have to deal with conflicts of interest. Until now, Faze Clan has enjoyed the fruits of this illegal business model with impunity because no one could or was willing to stand up to Faze Clan. Those days are over. Through this action, Tenny seeks to shift the balance of power to the gamers and content creators/streamers, those who are actually creating value and driving the industry. As a result of this action, others will hopefully take notice of what is going on and help to clean up esports. What he's saying right there is super important. What he's saying is Tfue is not the first person that's been wrong. He's the first person now with the means to actually follow through with this and do what's right. So this is kind of, even though Turner has a lot of money, this is still able to paint him as a victim. And what they're saying is we need to let this go through in no uncertain terms, and we need to enforce it here, or else we might not see this in court again, because it might be a long time if we shoot this down before someone with even less means than Turner dares to take this to court. This case needs to be heard, is essentially what's being put forward. That's the tone in this final paragraph 7. And then we go see the parties. And we'll do this also in this video, this section. At all relevant times, Tenny has resided in Los Angeles, California, and Indian Rocks Beach, Florida. Upon information and belief, Faze Clan is a Delaware corporation with its principal and only places of business in Los Angeles, California. What they're saying here is they're going to tell the court why we need to hear it in this court. So in the paragraph above, we had just said why the court needs to hear this. Turner's the only one with the means and the first one with the means that can actually bring this case to court. And that's why we need to hear it, right? And here they're saying why we can hear it. So they're filing in California, but we know Turner has lived both in Los Angeles and in Florida, and Faze is a company based out of Delaware. So should we sue in Delaware? Should we sue in Florida? Should we sue in California? Those are state courts. Or should we sue in federal court? Is this an issue between states? And ultimately, because California has the most robust entertainment type law, and this is what they're trying to fit it into, these are the categories they want. Also, California tends to be fairly generous to parties that have been taken advantage of, and all the way up through the Ninth Circuit if it was appealed. And Delaware tends to be more fair and biased towards corporations. So that's why we want to say, hey, this is the right court to hear this case. And that's what he's trying to put out right here in the parties. So he says in paragraph 10, the true names and capacities, whether individual, corporate, associate, or otherwise, of the defendants named herein does 1 through 25 inclusive are unknown to Tenney, who therefore sues said defendants by such fictitious names. Basically saying those rest of the people, Faze Clan plus those 25, he doesn't know exactly who they are, so he can't name them. But he says all those 25 people are responsible for the events alleged herein, and the damages caused thereby as a principal agent, co-conspirator, aider, and abettor. Basically saying, we need to sue the Faze Clan, we also need to sue these individuals who have been a part of this. We don't know these individuals' names. We can only learn those if we move forward with this suit, but this is what we do know. And this is who we can name. So he's going to amend this complaint to allege the true names and capacities of such defendant when they've been ascertained. So when he gets those names, he's asking to amend this initial complaint to include those names in the future. Then we talk about paragraph 11, and this is where we're going to end it before the first cause of action on the next page, and we'll come out with the first cause of action next video. This court is the proper court for trial of this matter because Faze Clan resides in Los Angeles County, California. The contract at issue was entered into in Los Angeles County, California, and the acts and occurrences alleged herein occurred in Los Angeles County, California. Moreover, California has a strong public policy and interest in preventing those that reside and the conduct business in California, like Faze Clan, from engaging in anti-competitive conduct in California in violation of Section 16,600. Essentially, what this is saying is what I was saying before. This is the right place. It is in Los Angeles County's best interest to hear this case because not only did these things that are alleged that we're going to see in the future videos, we're going to see in the coming week as I release these videos and analyze this complaint, not only did these happen in Los Angeles County, but there's a strong public policy and interest in preventing those that reside and conduct business in California, such as Faze Clan, from engaging in anti-competitive conduct. So basically saying, this stuff's happening all over your county. This unfair behavior that I described above is all over here, and we need to handle this properly because you're going to be the one that has to hear these suits in the future. You are the home for the entertainment industry, and that is why it's important that you handle this in this court. That's why it's important you accept this case and you take care of this. So that's all we have for the first part, the introduction. We're going to go over the first calls of action in the next video. If you enjoyed this video and you want to continue on and you want to see what this lawsuit's about, and you want an actual law student to tell you what's going on, I mean, there's a lot of gossip on the web right now. Everyone on YouTube is making these videos, and most of them don't know what they're talking about. I'm here to set the record straight. I have the actual complaint, and I'm going to run through it and tell you what's going on, and we're going to speculate by the water cooler. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to let you know exactly what you need to know to understand what's going on in this lawsuit, and that's it. So if you want to see more, throw a like down below. That'll really help me out. Subscribe, and I can't wait to get back to you with more legal videos explaining what's going on in pop culture from a law student's perspective. Thank you. Have a great day.